Arash, no Minnesota Vikings tarp today.
No, I opted out. By the way, can I make a prediction on the score? I'm probably ineligible for the prize, living in Ontario.
But can you get here for the game on Saturday?
Riders 38, Stamps 9.
Ooh.
And I'm being generous for Calgary's points.
Okay, Colson is writing it down. Back to that Detroit, Minnesota game. Oh. Remember last week when I was talking about my Sports Select tickets and needing a tie?
Yes.
Well,
you got your tie.
Well, I flew out at 5 a.m. on Thursday, and with the missus, and I said, "I'm just give me a sec. I'm gonna go play a little ticket here." So I got some action going on Sunday when we're flying home. So I played that game as a tie, which is a 3-point game. Any of you Sports Select players out there will know that. I played the Monday nighter, Arizona, Los Angeles, as a tie.
Nice.
And then I took Baltimore to win outright. And I took Indianapolis, Miami as another tie, and it was a 6-pointer. But I still win because I hit 3 of 4.
3 of 4 is a winner.
3 of 4 is a winner. 4 of 4 is really good. 4 of 4.
That's very Canadian, isn't it? You like,
it
know,
is.
It's like you get a consolation ribbon.
Yeah.
You know, that's not Canadian. That you gave it the old college try.
Yeah.
Keeps you coming back is what it does.
Next time.
Responsibly.
Right.
Responsibly. Always playing what I can afford to lose, which is really little. Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, speaking of losing, Tampa Bay. I don't know if there are a lot of Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans out there, but I feel sorry for you. They got a 4-3 record. What happens there? End of the line, Vil?
It kind of feels that way. They're saying Evans won't be back until after the bye, week 11. And the only reason I think that's important, guys, is because they really were starting to figure things out there in Tampa. They gave Baker Mayfield the contract. Godwin was going into free agency after this year. It felt like they were kind of all in a division that's really up for grabs with the Saints, Falcons, and Carolina's hopeless. I wonder now, does Tampa Bay, I mean, trade deadline's a couple of weeks away, do they go after Cooper Kupp with the Rams? Like, this is still a very winnable division. It's still a way that you could host a playoff game, if not two. Is this the play right now if you're the Bucs to just say, look, they've done it before. They went and got Brady. They went and got Gronk. You know, that was only, 4 or 5 years ago. Let's do that again here. This may be our best chance at a championship because the NFC is wide open right now.
Is Kupp? Who else can you see available receiver wise? Like now Devontae Adams is off the, well, who knows, maybe the Jets will no. But who else is Amari Cooper? He's old anyway. Who else is out there? Yeah, who else is
went to the Bills? I don't know. Like I would have said, is there somebody in Carolina, but Adam Thielen's hurt? Like you're not going to deal a young guy if you're the Panthers, even though your season is really hopeless right now. I'm not sure. Seattle might be in the market for a receiver too, because DK Metcalf is week to week.
Was that was a bad looking? That was
it was.
Bad. I saw the replay or the highlight on the score.
Who's like what team's season is over that has assets? New England season is over, but they don't really have a veteran receiver you want.
No,
Cleveland's
they have no receivers.
Already in Buffalo. I'm not sure.
What about well, sorry, Harry, go ahead.
No, we're just gonna say receivers are in short supply for what you're looking for. If you're trying to get over that hump and get to a championship game, there's not a lot of names out there that you're like, we got to go ahead and get that guy because that'll be the difference. There's not a lot of difference makers out there.
And the other issue, fellas, is with now these expanded playoffs, there are a lot more teams who feel they're probably in the hunt. You know, a couple of weeks ago, Cincinnati was on life support. Now, all of a sudden, they get a couple of wins. They're a game below 500. They haven't gotten into the teeth of their division schedule. They're suddenly back in the hunt. So with that 17th game and the expanded playoffs, you're saying to yourself, all right, well, what happened to all that 1 in a million talk?
So now that there's so many teams that have been pulled kind of into this chase, who not up?
Oh, he's cutting out it.
The next
he's
weeks.
He's cutting out a bit. I think he was asking, who's scary? Can't say Kansas City.
To me, the two best teams in football, including Kansas City, are Detroit and Baltimore. Like, you think about the Ravens, who start 0-2, and now they're 5-2. They're 0-2, and their second loss, they led by 10 at home to the Raiders in the fourth quarter, and they lost that game. What scares me about Baltimore, going up against Baltimore, is how stacked their defense is, how many weapons Lamar has, and the fact that their offensive line can block. Like, Lamar can throw it from the pocket. He showed that last night. That dude threw for 5 touchdowns. Derrick Henry ran for 169 yards, and he didn't even have his second carry of the game until the second half. And I think Detroit, top to bottom, has the best roster in football. So those are the two teams that really scare me, guys. I don't know about you.
Do you speaking of trades and then Detroit, do you see Garrett getting moved out of Cleveland?
Oh man, that's such a tough one. Like, the answer should be yes, because Myles Garrett is your best asset. The fact that Deshaun Watson's Achilles is now popped, I mean, look, your season's over. You should go with Dorian Thompson-Robinson to see what you have there. You shouldn't go with Jameis Winston. Can Myles Garrett get you a young player and a second-round pick? Could Myles Garrett get you a first-round pick? I mean, you gave all them away to Houston when you went and got Watson. You may as well try and get something back for him.
Wow, I don't know if a first-round pick, but desperate times. Then on the Ravens thing, like we talked about, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, like they are good, and how it looks, and if it's a video game, you really like how you're sitting with this team, but it's just not going to be sustainable till February. Like, Derrick Henry, there's got to be some load management. So I'm looking at their schedule. They play the Browns, who we just talked about. They never did have a quarterback. yeah, like they put in Harbaugh, put in whoever there. Let Lamar sit. Let Derrick Henry sit. Then you got the Broncos. Broncos are weird. So that's sneaky. Nothing. Yes, sneaky. Then you got the Bengals. Like, you got to dress all your horses November 7th. Then you got the Steelers, who it's like, what? Like, if you're a Pittsburgh Steeler fan, good on you. Like, that's exciting every year. When's the last time Pittsburgh stunk?
Yeah.
They're like the Seattle Thunderbirds of the NHL.
So Mike Tomlin is the third head coach in franchise history. Think about that.
It's crazy.
The third head coach in franchise history. He has never had a losing record as head coach. With 2 cast-off quarterbacks, they're paying Russell Wilson the veteran minimum, and Justin Fields, who they got for a 6th. With those two in that division, they're 5-2. I mean, he's sprinkling magic fairy dust wherever he goes, man. That guy's a coach now.
That Russell Wilson thing, and how Denver is saddled with all that money, and how they're playing now. He's that guy that when you buy a car and you flip it, and he's like, yeah,
sure.
Look what I just did. I just made a bunch of money on whatever. So here's
a great analogy, though, Barney, because I thought it was really interesting, because Tomlin wouldn't tip his hand on who his starting quarterback would be, but then in the NBC production meeting, he's talking to Collinsworth and Tirico about it. And Collinsworth brought this up on the broadcast, that Tomlin, this was not a move made that Russ is now our guy the rest of the way. He said, I don't know what we have. He went to the used car lot. It was a flashy car back in the day. It was a well-operating car back in the day.
Honda CRX.
He got it for pennies on the dollar, as long as a Honda CRX can get you to the top of the podium.
Fantastic vehicle. I'm in the market for one if anyone has one. Go ahead.
And Russ just and Tomlin just said, okay, let's see what this is. We're non-committal past tonight. And now maybe you go another week with Russ as your guy. Let's see.
Is there something to be said for just the change of scenery? I mean, just the way that there's no expectations. You're Russell Wilson. You're brought into Denver to do a job. You didn't do it. They gave up on you. They didn't do anything with you. They gave up on you. You go to Pittsburgh with zero expectations. They're like, we expect nothing from you. You might not even make this team. And then once he gets the opportunity, he makes it work. Now, is there something to be said for just that? Sure. But
right? Like the first half, first of all, the Jets are awful. 2, the first half was a little shaky, and Russ cooked by throwing the ball up, and George Pickens went out and climbed the ladder and caught him. Like, I don't think we totally know what Russell Wilson is, so to speak, yet. But it's a heck of a start, and it just buys him some time now to see what you're going to get.
He was so bad in Denver. I need at least 3 games for my eyeballs to say Russ can still cook, because he was bad in Denver. It did look like he was cooking in Denver a lot of things. But then back to Baltimore, they play the Browns last game of the year, so that's sit guys down there. But then they got the Texans and the Steelers before that, the Giants. We need some sort of load management. Is there rumors with Matthew Stafford?
I saw something today that the mighty Minnesota Vikings have some interest in Matthew Stafford.
Sam Darnold's just like, come on. What else do I have to do?
Yeah. We lost one game.
Beat Detroit. But it actually makes sense, guys, because Matthew Stafford, the year they won the Super Bowl, his offensive coordinator was Kevin O'Connell. So it's the same offense, probably a lot of the same terminology. And the Rams at 2-4 may be just pulling the chute on their season. So, if we're talking about Cooper Kupp going to the Bucs, for instance, or I just can't see the Rams trading in the division to San Francisco, who just lost Ayuk, to Seattle, who may have just lost Metcalf. If the Rams are pulling the chute, like Matthew Stafford makes a ton of sense in Minnesota. Because I think with the Vikes, coming off they missed the playoffs last year. It's year 3 of this regime. There might be a lot of people there with jobs on the line. And so you make moves like this when you're on, because 5-1 can turn into 6-4 real quick.
Yeah.
Especially when Sam Darnold's your quarterback.
Speaking of change of scenery or wheels falling off, switching gears to the CFL, I know that the season's not over yet, but wetting your whistle for what could happen in the offseason, some of the storylines that you like going into next year that keep an eye on.
So here's one way off the radar. Brian Dobie has been the head coach at the University of Manitoba forever. Brian Dobie is retiring as the head coach at the University of Manitoba. The general manager of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers is Kyle Walters. Walters used to be the head coach at the University of Guelph. For a few years now, there has been trouble in paradise with Walters and Mike O'Shea. They've made it work, but that's not a real good fit right now. Hasn't been for a while. Wouldn't surprise me if Kyle Walters finds himself in the conversation to take over the football program at the U of M. He's made CFL GM money for a while. He could come to some kind of buyout with the Blue Bombers. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that's something to absolutely keep your eye on this offseason, because I think there may be some legs to it.
Before we let you go, I want to talk some baseball here. New York and LA, baseball fans just got to be loving it. Just as far as, I don't even know. I'm curious to Colson, maybe you can check this out. How much tickets are to get into this thing?
You can't get in for under $1,500. $1,500 may not even get you in. Like, this is a dream matchup for baseball, right? Yankees, Dodgers, East Coast, West Coast, two biggest markets, Ohtani versus Judge, historic, etc. And baseball has become such a regional league that I think, like, what this World Series will kind of show us is what the national appeal can be. Because there's nothing bigger than this. There can be nothing bigger than this. So we're about to find out with mega star power, Soto, Judge, Stanton, Ohtani, you name it, Mookie Betts. What can the ceiling for baseball be? That's what this World Series is going to do. The other thing, guys, is it's amazing the power of the NFL. Major League Baseball has worked their entire World Series to all but avoid football. Game 1 and 2 are Friday, Saturday. Sunday's the travel day. Games 3, 4, and 5 go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Travel day back if you need game 6 is Thursday, so you avoid Thursday night football.
Yeah.
Then game 6 and 7 is Friday, Saturday. You're avoiding 2 Sundays and a Thursday.
That makes sense. Like, you need to. It would be like, you don't know this, Arash, but it would be like somebody in Lumsden thinking it's a good idea to bring in Sawyer Brown the weekend of Country Thunder down the road. Like, he just wouldn't do that. It makes no sense. The biggest music festival in the province is down the road. You're not bringing in. Yeah, so just avoid. But the other thing, though, like, college football is an absolute power too, but you got to play somewhere. I'm really curious to see the ratings on this. And you got the international flair as well, the Japan market. I just looked up the lowest rated World Series ever. Guess which two teams?
New York.
No. Lowest.
Lowest.
One team actually surprised me.
Somebody.
Who's that?
Florida and somebody.
See, I thought it would have been Florida too. They don't even have a roof on their stadium right now.
Was it the last couple of years with Houston or Texas in it?
Texas, Arizona.
Yeah. Last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're literally
Colson
going
wants to chime in. Colson wants to chime in. He might have found out someone's still alive. Hold on.
I was just going to say the lowest tickets you can get to game 1, $1,682 USD.
There you go.
And that's
USD.
That's nosebleed.
And like, you're seeing nothing up there. Like, you know, you're looking at little cartoon characters from your seat.
Yeah, if you're looking for behind the Dodgers bullpen, $21,000.
There we go.
That's where all the celebrities will be. Everyone that used to party with P. Diddy will be sitting behind the dugout there. The thing about Major League Baseball, I'm not a big fan. I brought this up before. Going to the World Series in 2013, it's unbelievable. Like, everything matters. That passed ball, that foul ball that no one cares about in July, August, and September, like, just everything mattered. But for that kind of dough.
What was 13? That was the Red Sox?
Yes.
So here's the other thing about that, is that first pitch at 8:15, at 4 o'clock outside of Fenway Park, every single bar and every single restaurant's jammed.
I don't know anything about that. I was just there to watch baseball. With
your scorebook, keeping score.
Yes, if you're keeping score at home. I always loved that one. Okay, we got to do this on what, Friday?
Friday.
Because you're doing fancy stuff on Thursday.
Yeah, talking to a couple old Raptors, Nick Nurse and Kyle Lowry. So it'll be during the show.
Okay, well, we'll chat with you Friday, Arash.
Thanks, boys.
Coast to coast.
38 to 9.
38 tonight. Hey, every NHL team's playing tonight. Talk about Sprinkle Town when I get home. Woo, yeah. boxing games left and right. Okay. Friday, Arash. Thanks, buddy.